Ever wondered what happened to the cars from TV programmes? Well, you're in the right place to find out. This time we are on the trail of the Morris Minor convertible, better known as Miriam, from the Lovejoy TV series. So stick with us and see what we found out. Lovejoy ran from 1986 to 1994 for 71 episodes over 6 series, and was a comedy drama that followed the antics of a roguish antique dealer played by Ian McShane, who we know from roles as varied as Magnum PI all the way through to John Wick. Now, as ever in one of these car searches, we've got to do a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, and I didn't realise this, there were 5 years between Series 1 and Series 2, and Series 2 is where Miriam, the Morris Minor, appears. In Series 1, Lovejoy drives that staple of antiques dealers in the 70s and 80s, yep, Volvo Estate 265 GLE. Now this one, registration number SDY111S, and it survived the programme and lived out its life apparently in the village of Walsham-le-Willows in Suffolk, not far from where Lovejoy was filmed. It was last taxed in 1991, last V5 issued 92, so I think we're fairly confident that one's been scrapped. When Lovejoy returned in 1991, he was then driving a 1968 Morris Minor convertible, registration number VOY943G, and the backstory to this was it had been lent to him by Lady Jane of Felsham Hall. Now this car only appears in Series 2 and being shown in 1991, it was probably filmed in 1990. Post filming, the first thing I noticed about it is on my car check we've got a change of keeper, and that was in April 1991. Now the car probably would have been used for filming in 1990, so that makes sense. So they've disposed of the car. The reasons for that will come on later, and it's more straightforward than what a lot of people have put on the internet. And then the next time I see it is in a newspaper article in the Sandwell Evening Mail, and that's a Midlands newspaper, and this was in November 2011, when it was pictured at the NEC for the classic car show that was held there still every year, and it was owned by a chap called Phil Scarrett. And then in 1992 it appears again, and that time we've got this article from the Derby Evening Telegraph where it's being exhibited, and then finally I've got this picture, and I'm assuming this is Phil with it, at the Potteries Morris Minor Owner Club rally in 1992, held at Alton Towers, before it was converted into that wallet emptying facility it now is. So how did all this come about? Well, I've managed to track down this, which is the very first issue of the Morris Minor Owners Club magazine, and in it is a fantastic article explaining how this car had come into Phil's hands. The story goes that this car was given away as the prize in a News of the World competition, and one of the old school ones where you phoned in, cost you £1, and your name went in the hat with everyone else, and turns out Phil was the lucky winner of that competition. When he initially got the phone call, his wife thought it was a prank, but no, turns out it was true. He went down to London, had a limousine up to a hotel, and had the photo shoot with Ian McShane, who handed him the car. Initially he thought the car, because of the way it was portrayed in the programme with all those bits of primer over it and the tape on the roof, was a bit shabby. When he actually got it, it had been resprayed, was in really nice condition, and he'd actually only got third-party fire and theft insurance to get it home because he thought, well, it's probably not worth a lot. Realised it'd actually been valued at £8,000. So he gets it on the road, gets it home. As soon as he got home, apparently a local garage offered him good money for it, and he turned it down because it was his price and he was keeping it. And it looks like he did a great job of enjoying it over the next few years. In 1994, it took part in the John O'Groats to Land End Morris Minor charity event, which it completed successfully. Phil said that his plans in 1995 were to take it to Ireland. Now, somewhere in the early 2000s, I think about 2010, this car came off the road, because that's the last record I've got of it actually being taxed, was in January 2010. And it then goes quiet for quite some time until October 2018, when this video appears on YouTube by Skazman of the car parked up, and I'm thinking, oh, hello, we got a trial here. And I managed to track down the person who posted up that video, and it turns out it was Phil's son. Now, sadly, Phil passed away a couple of years ago, and chatting to his son, he was unsure at the time what to do about it. That was earlier this year, and obviously it was great family attachment to him, and we had a bit of a back and forth, and he said he got someone interested in the car, so I wanted to see how that worked out, but then I didn't get any replies from my messages to him, so I thought, oh dear, this has all gone a bit quiet. But then Julian got in touch and said, I've got the original Morris Minor from Lovejoy. And I went, well, hey, we're back on again. And this turns out Julian had quite an incredible pursuit of this car. He'd first contacted Phil back in the mid-1990s, trying to purchase this car from him. He was a big Lovejoy fan, and he really wanted to get hold of it. Phil wasn't interested in selling. He kept in touch with him loosely over the years, and he never wanted to sell. And then, of course, Phil passed away. He had got in touch with Phil's son, who, like, when I spoke to him, wasn't sure what he was going to do, and, you know, wasn't sure if he was ready to sell. But eventually, after, what was that, nearly 30 years of pursuing the car, in spring 2025, he managed to do a deal, and the car is now his. The car, as we know, had been off the road quite some time, so it did need quite a lot of mechanical work, and Julian's very kindly provided us with a whole mass of pictures here from when he collected it through all the work that he's done. And just to list down some of the things that he's done to this car, it's had a full engine rebuild, it's had a full gearbox rebuild, it's had the clutch replaced, it's had a new radiator, it's had an alternator conversion, it's had a replacement fuel tanks, he's gone through the brakes and replaced everything there, new tyres, etc, etc. That Julian's decided to keep the bodywork basically as it was with that original patina. I now understand that the car, prior to it being given away in the News of the World magazine, either just before filming or just after filming, was restored by its then current owner, a guy called Ron Waymar, who was a well-known Rolls-Royce restoration specialist, and apparently he also did loan out cars for events and TV and so on. So he'd had that Morris Minor. Now, he'd either restored it just before it was used in the show or just after, but it apparently was still in very good condition. Things like on the roof, you can actually still see the tape marks from where they applied duct tape to make it look like the roof had been repaired. So Julian's intending to keep that car as it was. And the other nice thing is, in the window we can see a sticker for the 1991 Harewood House Rally. So that proves again that this car was actually given away in 1991. Julian says he doesn't want to add up all the bills because it's probably going to be a bit frightening. He says he's virtually there. There are a few more jobs to do, but they're all relatively cheap. And the great thing is, he recently sent me this video to show the car is up and running and driving around. And we can verify that with a quick look on my car check. And we see it's up and back on the road. And Julian's plans for 2026 are to take that car back to its original filming location, Felsham Hall, which in real life is Belsham Hall in East Anglia. And in fact, there may be more than one Miriam there, but you need to keep watching to find out why. Just before we move on to the second Miriam, I'm just going to touch on another vehicle because I'm sure someone else will bring it up, and that is the 1983 Datsun pickup, registration number A697GDB. And that was one that Lovejoy used to move various bits and pieces around on occasions. And that car did actually survive filming, because filming would have finished probably in 1993. And that one was taxed up until 2001. And thereafter there's no records of it. So I can only assume that that one has been scrapped. So on to the second Miriam, another 1968 Morris Minor. This one registration number RKE398G. Now this car was used from Series 3 and this first aired in 1992. Now, the slight change of appearance of this car was put down to a storyline where Eric, one of Lovejoy's colleagues, had sold the car while Lovejoy was away, i.e. I believe in prison, and the buyer had decided to customise the car, hence the Wolf Race wheels, which obviously were very popular of that era. And when Lovejoy was available again, he then purchased the car back. Now, as the series went on, this car was used less and less. Originally, it had the VOY number plate overlaid over its original one. But as the series went on, it got used less and less. And its final appearance was when it was wrapped up in ribbons in the very final series for Lovejoy to give away to his assistant Beth. And as you can see by the picture, it's got the genuine number plate showing. And this car also had its moment in the magazines, this time in Street Machine magazine in April 1992, where they picked up on the car because of its hot rod sort of look due to those Wolf Race wheels. Now the BBC actually owned this car, and post filming they decided to auction it off. Now you'd think car with TV provenance like this, it would be like a Bonham's or a Christie's or a Coy's or something like that. But no, they decided to sell it through Oliver's auction house in Sudbury, Suffolk, which was just down the road from where the TV series was filmed. And as you can see by the catalogue of the day, it's prime a place on the front as probably their top lot. Now this auction got quite a lot of coverage locally. And how do I know all this? Because Dave, who actually purchased the car from the auction, has got in touch. And he heard the car was there on the grapevine. He was a big Lovejoy fan. So he decided to go down. He had a budget of 3,000 plus fees. And thankfully he was able to purchase the car for 2,800 plus fees. So he said it was quite amazing to be watching the programme later on telly, knowing that the car on screen was actually in his garage. Now when Dave purchased the car, he was given the details of a chap called Paul Richmond, who had been in charge of dealing with the car while it was with the BBC, and he gave him a lot of background information about it. Now the reason they changed from the original Miriam was that car was owned by somebody who, as we mentioned before, hired it out for events, and the car unfortunately wasn't always available when they needed it. So to take back control, they decided to purchase a car of their own, hence the change of vehicles. I've read lots of other stories and versions of why that happened, but that's straight from the horse's mouth. And Dave also asked why they'd sold it at Oliver's rather than one of the big auction houses. And Paul simply said that they just wanted the car to remain local to where the filming was, which I think is a really nice touch. I can't really imagine that happening nowadays. After buying it, Dave used the car for a number of years, and like Julian, he's been very generous in sharing a load of pictures with us, and he said it got recognised sort of almost wherever he took it, particularly as it was local to filming. It got used on the cover of the Lovejoy trial book by Paul Atkinson, and also he's taken it back to Belsham Hall, or Felsham Manor as it was in the programme. Was it Manor or Hall? I can't remember. I should have double checked, sorry, I'm sure someone will correct me. And he's taken a great picture of it there. He said the car has not been restored from when it was in the programme. There's the marks from where cameras were attached, etc, etc. And he says even in the glove box are the original L plates which were attached to the car when it was given away to Beth at the end because she didn't have a full licence. He said unfortunately the car has been off the road for about 10 years, but he is starting to get to work on it with the hope of getting it back on the road for 2026. And he very recently sent me these pictures of the Wolf Race wheels which he's got off, and he's polishing them back up again. So his plan is to get it back to Felsham Manor next year, possibly alongside Julian's car as well. Wouldn't that be great to see the pair together? Well, I really hope you've enjoyed that trial to follow through the history of these two cars, and if you have, please do consider giving that subscribe button a click for us. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.